G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a payload rifle. This is a weapon that can be best described as a grenade launcher machine gun sniper rifle. Yeah, it can fulfill that role of being a long-range grenade machine gun. Wow, interesting. We haven't seen anything quite like this before, so I'm interested to see how it turns out. At the moment, we haven't got this modified, but you can see a little bit of a Chaytok intervention inspiration with that foregrip there, which is cool. This thing has custom sounds, both for the shooting and the reloading foley, which is cool. The animations are that of the combat rifle, which work just fine for this gigantic, boxy beast of a weapon. And it's injected onto the leveled list as well with its custom ammo, which are all in the 25mm grenade launcher, which come in a few flavors. Plus, there's a couple of uniques that fire the 50 cal BMG bullets, the big Browning ones, the big sniper bullets, you know the ones. Go over before we start shooting, so let's make this quick. We'll start off with the receivers, and if you scroll all the way down, it gets interesting here. So you got the overpowered receiver, that's your strongest semi-auto receiver, but you've also got automatic receivers, including a rapid one for increased DPS, although with a heavy damage penalty, even compared to the standard receiver that you can see here. Also, apparently it's got bleed damage. That's weird. That's the poison thing. Usually the poison damage in this game is worthless because mostly everything, I think only humans are susceptible to that kind of damage, but I suppose that bleed damage there is what we're seeing. We could pretend that's like a blood drop or something. But yes, you can have it rapid fire fully auto if you feel like it, but we're gonna make this one a sniper rifle, so we'll go for an overpowered receiver here for epic damage. Reduced fire rate and recoil, that's fine. We're going to be sniping with it. Rate of fire is not our highest priority. Next, we've got the barrels. You can have a short barrel, a stub barrel, which will decrease your range to under 100, which means, well, you have to be really close to get this to work. And for a weapon that fires 25mm grenades, getting close, usually a bit of a danger to yourself. But there's also options for a longer barrel, sniper barrel, which is yet even longer, and a light version of those things to reduce the weight burden. So the sniper barrel normally weighs 37, but the light one, 33.7, which is a fairly significant margin in the weight drop there. And yep, that's even more Chaytok intervention feels about it with that looking barrel. Next, we've got the stock. So we've got a light stock on right now. You can have no stock at all. Perhaps if you're in power armor, that might work a little bit better, at least in my mind. You've got a full stock here, marksman stock, and a recoil compensating stock, which it looks like it's taken some components out of a combat rifle's recoil compensating stock, but skeletonized it a little bit. That's kind of cool. Next, we've got the magazines. You can have a standard, small for even lower ammo capacity, but for a faster reload speed, might be useful if you want to keep the weight on this thing down. Large magazines with drums, quick eject versions of each, including quick eject drum magazines. Now we're hitting over 40 pounds with this rifle. Insane. Next, we've got the sights. You could have standard irons, gunner sights, which will flip that little flippy thing up. It's just the same, but looks different. You've also got options for glow sights here, including glowing versions of the flippy uppy sight. And you've also got reflex sights, standard scopes up to 14 times, and night vision scopes up to 14 times, and also recon scopes up to 14 times. The 14 times variant appear to require a rank in sniper to get that to work, but I think, as far as I'm aware, the scopes in this game, like the vanilla ones, the maximum is, what is it, 8 or 10? I'm not sure, but I do believe that 14 times magnification is much higher than what you get out of any weapon in this game, which is great, but the range on this thing doesn't allow for making the best use of that. So perhaps that's overkill, but if you want to, tell the color of your gunner's eyes as you're scoping them in, then by all means go on ahead. I think the 6 times scope here is sort of gets you in that sweet spot of where this weapon's best range is, and where it might be practical in a sort of a closer range engagement. Next, we've got the muzzles. You can have a muzzle cap here, which reduces the recoil a little bit. Muzzle booster, which will increase the fire rate. Interesting. Better recoil control. Wouldn't it be more recoil because it's firing faster? Perhaps, but that's good for an automatic version to boost your fire rate, to boost that DPS even more. There's also a compensator and muzzle brake for recoil control. I love this style of muzzle brake, like a big 50 muzzle brake, but there's a suppressor here. We're going to be using that one. It's going to reduce our range even further, and it's going to be heavy, but it's going to be super stealthy, and it's even got a complementary little compensator thingo on the front there, a little muzzle brake on the suppressor, because I guess you can't stop all the gas. And we've got a legendary effect provided by legendary modification. We'll skip over that. And here you can change the flavor of ammo. So your standard is your high explosive armor piercing, which is 50 direct damage and 50 splash damage, obviously boosted by your relevant rifleman and demolition expert perks. If you want something that'll reward you for not being as accurate, this one's better splash damage, so slightly better crowd control. Should your enemies be staying closer together, less forgiving on missed shots that are near enough, you'll get slightly better damage. High explosive incendiary, this one does more damage to ghouls, which I think is kind of cool, because in the vanilla game, your Molotovs early game, they just kind of shred ghouls, so I suppose, I don't even know if that's a factor in that decision, but that's kind of cool, seeing this thing do more damage to ghouls, plus it'll burn people. The training practice rounds gives you small, tiny bits of splash damage, but more, excuse me, I just sneezed. So you get less splash damage with this one, but more direct damage, but an overall downgrade in overall damage. Increased stagger though, so if you hit something with this thing, it's going to do much better damage. 15 is more akin to what you get out of the standard vanilla game explosive rounds, so yeah, more direct damage means you'll be rewarded slightly better for your accuracy. We're going to leave this just on the standard versions here. Next, we've got the carry handle, or the supplementary bipod thing. So this thing being a gigantic sniper rifle will go for a bipod, but there's also a different plastic carry handle there and a folded bipod should you want to have that look. And you can change the skin on this thing. So default, Desert Storm, Gunmetal Grey, which is slightly different to default. Subtle differences. Gunners, which will give you a green color with a gunner skull, and some tally marks here. It's a very cool skin. I quite like that. Unfortunately, we're playing as the wrong character to utilize that. Minuteman, nice and blue. I quite like this. Very clean. Tactical Black, really cool. It's subtle, but there's a small difference here. You've also got Winterized as well. He want to hear a joke? Liberating Anchorage. That's a line from the captain from that submarine that's trapped out of Boston Harbor. So that's a cool reference. And that's it. The Winterized one. Oh, you know what? I'm doing it. It'll be the gunner's white whale, as it were. Alright, well, that's our payload rifle done up to be a sniper rifle. I'm going to make a few more of these so we can fulfill multiple roles, but yeah, it's going to be fun. To craft this weapon's ammunition, at least for the standard in mod ammunition, there are versions that use the munitions mod, but I've decided not to use those because I want to see what the mod author has done to inject these things. So you can just craft them on a chemistry workbench for gun nut rank 1, and these materials, including all of the different flavors, which have different models too, including this one, which appears to have cool glow maps around it. So that's really cool. And you can scrap the rounds as well, and if you do that, you'll actually get all of the materials back. So if you pick up, say, a bunch of training practice explosive rounds, you can scrap all of those things and convert them into high explosive AP, for example, should you want that one. So that's really cool. You can yeah, you can get rid of some of these if you don't want them and process them into rounds that you find more favorable, which gives you extra flexibility. Very nice, good decisions. Let's move on. The payload rifle is injected onto the leveled list at level 15 for your grenade launcher variants and level 25 for your sniper rifle variants. And they're worth a pretty penny, so bring your caps along because this is quite the investment. Okay, the first unique is located in the Institute, so I gotta start a new guide to actually show that to you, but, you know, we've got a goth wife, so your things aren't all bad. No! Some teleporting console command shenanigans later, we're at the Institute vendor, and he sells you Cold Burn. It says, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn, which might be the coldest line in cinematic history. It gives you 40% armor penetration. You can use the cryo grenades to freeze your targets or depleted uranium rounds to cause radiation damage with extra penetration. Unless your enemies are like super mega ultra armored, then I suppose there's no real reason to use the radiation damage rounds because most of your enemies are going to not be susceptible to it. I suppose it's more practical to use the cryo rounds to freeze your targets, but yeah, it's got some like cloud drawings on it, I suppose. That's kind of cool. It'd be cool if there was a more of an Institute paint and less of this blue nonsense on it, but yeah, that's what I think. Anyway, so we can't afford that because apparently it's worth 85,000 caps. Are you serious? Well, we got nothing, so we can only look at it. Maybe Sean can buy it for me. Our first unique is located within an unmarked location known as Commonwealth Bank, which is located just south of the Faneuil Hall. Find this road corner here, and you'll find it. There's a raider camp just outside it, so if you find raiders in this gigantic bank sign, then you're in the right place. There's a couple of points of entry. If you want to go up the stairs and do some cardio, go through that one. But if you want to take an elevator to go up there easier, then that's good. You'd save your energy. You don't want to run hungry. Once you're inside there, just go right, find this vault, crack her open. And then you'll find flak cannon just on the table, complete with a couple of magazines of 25mm buckshot. It's a fucking anti-aircraft gun, Vincent. Plus 100% damage against vertibirds and feral ghouls. Fires a flurry of buckshot or short-range dragon's breath. It's also got that little A10 warthog mouth and a peace sign on it. Peace through 25mm buckshot, I guess, and more tally marks on it. And there you go. That's our flak cannon. Let us move on to the next. Unique is located within Far Harbor, the DLC. You gotta go all the way down south to the Cranberry Bog Island area, and I believe what you'll need to do is open up this supply shed. If you haven't done this before, there's a couple of generators around, 3 in fact, which you must activate in order to get access to this, because if you go up to this thing right now, it requires a key to open. So we'll find out where those generators are. I'll show you where to find them, and then we'll open up what's inside. If you want to find these fuses yourself, here's a hand-drawn map that the game provides you. Good hunting. Number 1 is a gimme. This one sits right below where the map marker is, and you head a little bit south from your map marker, you'll find this generator. If you're in the dark, this light will give it away. If you activate these wires with 5 intelligence or 6 copper, you can repair it, and with that, activate that generator, and with a ground-shattering activation, she's ready to go. 2 is easy to find. Simply look for these giant silos. You'll see them from pretty much everywhere. These giant yellow silos, you'll find them. Pretty easy to find. Number 2. And the circuit board here is this. So you gotta have 4 circuitry or 6 perception to activate this. And I believe you can jam something metal. That's a luck thing. But once you've fixed the circuit breaker here, find the little activating flippy switch. There's the light again, and that's another one activated. 2 down, 1 to go. Number 3 is located on the very southwestern edges of your Cranberry Island, and you're not looking for a fuse box this time. Don't be fooled. What you're actually after are these pipes right here, which they don't give you a spark or anything to actually give you an idea that's what should be changed, although there's a little bit of an effect there that you might be able to see. Anyway, so you can use 7 strength to bend that pipe back into place. Doesn't look like that's sealed or anything, but I suppose that's good enough for the game to activate it. Anyways, so there you have it. That's all 3 generators active. Let's see if we can open up that supply bunker. Those generators active, you can access a secret bunker, which is located just right here. Find all these shipping containers under a big old shed. There's a trailer filled with those orange carts out the front of it, and you can open this right up. There's ghouls here. Surprise jump scared ghouls. Hang on, there's still one more, including a glowing one, which was the least worrying out of all of them. Okay, I guess their bunker didn't work out very well, but in here you'll find the supply key, the note, and the jumpsuit. There's also yet another drawing, one of them scrubbed out. Don't know what's going on there, kind of creepy, but let's head to that bunker, that shed now. And bang, it's open. It's all locked up in here. There's plenty of supplies, and here is Hyena in for dead. Punch your fists into the air and raise a rebel yell. There's lots of bad uns out there that you need to send to hell. Fires a time-delayed nuclear sticky grenade. Oh, that's cool. Cripples ghouls, could use that one. Just kidding. I think we found them easily to deal with that survive. And consecutive hits delayed and stacks explosions. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. Also, really cool skin. Very nice. Okay, well, we'll have to see how that one goes. But yes, these skins, I believe you can craft them now that you've found the weapon. And I'm guessing you'll be able to craft those grenades as well that they give you. Pack-a-Punch, COD reference there. Unique is located within Diamond City at Arturo's. It's called Intervention. It says, stay out of my territory. Those boxes, I believe they're meant to be quotation marks, but there's no characters for that with this particular font for the Fallout HUD. Anyways, uses 50 caliber round, faster than non-explosive projectile, increased capacity, extra AP, and better accuracy. Faster fire rate, better reload speed, 25% chance to stagger on hit, ensured critical hit to raiders. To what exactly? To the typing, to typo, to autocorrect. Anyways, so yeah, it's like a 50 cal version called Intervention. Very nice. Also, Breaking Bad, yeah. I knew the reference without even having to read that. What a show that was. Go and watch that. Next unique is back at Claire's. This is called Lockdown. 37,000 caps, same as Intervention before it. Very expensive, but says sexier than my girlfriend and twice as nice. Deals energy damage, reduced splash damage, can fire between anti-mechanical EMP or mixed damage plasma rounds. So more of an energy type approach with a cool red paint with some blue streaks on it. That's very nice. Space Gun, that's your reference. Could have had a reference to Lockdown from Transformers. He was a cool character, both in the animated TV show and for those brief moments you saw him in the Mark Wahlberg Transformers movie. That was cool, but yeah, missed opportunity there. But still, a cool gun. Thanks, Claire. We'll be taking this. Next unique is located within the Nuka-cade, which is located within Nuka World just here, just up from the main street and the market. And, well, this one's a doozy, because you got to get on this terminal, which is kind of bugged, right? The way you can do this is activate this thing and then quickly run around the corner. Just brake to your right and you'll activate this, because if you don't, if you're standing right next to it, it won't allow you on it, unless you're doing that. I suppose if you go in from this angle, you'll be okay. Perfect. Anyway, so as you can tell, I've got 1.6 million tickets, because in order to get the payload rifle, you need to have about that much. That's an absurd amount of grind for a payback rifle. And is it a payload rifle? I guess that's the unique name of it. And by the way, this might not even show up here. Everything that you see right now is on like a leveled list, like a random leveled list. So you might not even see this payback rifle. But even if you do see it, 1.555 million tickets for this thing. That is fucking absurd. And just to give you an idea of how much you're actually able to get out of this thing. Say if I want to go over here and use console commands to slow down time to get that score to like 17,000 or something, you scarcely get over 2,500 tickets. So if you've got hours and hours and hours to grind, this is like Fallout 76 levels of grind, by the way. Go right ahead, but if you've got access to console commands, do it. Just do it through that way. You'll be able to get this thing nice and fast, but yes, that's 1.5 million? Like, are you kidding me? I'm kind of insulted by that. Anyways, so we'll redeem this, and hopefully it doesn't get jammed in this creepy Cappy thing's mouth on the way down, but yep. Activate that, it'll come sliding down, and onto the floor it goes. Payback rifle. Keep the change, you filthy animal. Does more damage, lower your health is. Oh, it's bloody, that's cool. Can fire cap shot in beds, leaves bottle caps on targets, or nuka shells with heavy damage on a small area. Oh, that's kind of cool. Some bottle cap shells. Well, it's a cool weapon, but honestly, the price is too steep. Like, even your strongest plasma guns, they're worth, the random legendary rolls of plasma guns are 40,000, for example. But, yeah, that could be tweaked, because I don't think people are going to grind, let's see, 3 weeks in order to get a payback rifle, you know? Like, come on. Okay, so the Penetrator is a unique you can get from Tinker Tom. As you can tell, he's aggroed, so I've just console commanded show barter menu. So he's got the Penetrator. It says, shot to the heart and you're to blame. That is Bon Jovi. You give love a bad name. A bad name, in fact. Fires a supersonic non-explosive penetrator. Damage ramps up out of range. Ooh. So it's like an epic proper sniper thing. Okay, that's interesting. Also got a cool railroad paint. Yeah, we'll be having that from you, Tinker Tom. Much appreciated. And after that, we'll put you down for good. Ooh, rigor mortis set in quite quickly just then. Okay, one more unique. And the last one is found on Cricket. Now, it's easy to find her for me because I know exactly where she died, so I just resurrect her with console commands should ever I need her, but you might have more trouble finding Cricket in your game. She moves around. Anyways, she's got Tina's Tater Tots. This is obviously a reference to Tiny Tina from the Borderlands series. Roll for initiative, suckers. Fires an explosive shell that disperses bomblets. Reduced splash damage and impact damage. Mines and grenades shot in vats explode for double damage. So that would be quadruple damage when you get your demolition expert up all the way. There's got a muzzle booster and crumpet, trumpet, and cluster bombs. Okay, let's take all of these uniques back onto weapon bench and do them up a little bit. The skins from the uniques can be transferred to your regular ones after you've picked them up. So I've unlocked all of the skins on these now, and they come with some, I guess, some amusing descriptions as well. And of those new different grenade types that were introduced with said uniques are able to be crafted and scrapped just like normal. So you can go and feed all of your different payload rifles now that you've got them picked up and you've figured out the blueprint in your brain. Okay, we're finally here at Immersive Gunners Plaza. Here is our gigantic payload rifle in first person. If I crouch down, no scopes where to speak of. Great for sniping. Now, important note about this weapon, it is not hit scan. I repeat, it is not hit scan. So you can't just click on people from long range and kill them instantly. No, no, no. This is a little bit different, which it's fine. That's okay because, you know, we're firing this gigantic 25mm bullet. Honestly, it feels like firing a tank shell in a Battlefield game. It's very fast, but there's a little bit of time where it takes to actually reach its target, and it's not as slow as plasma projectiles or the railway spikes. And get a decently big tracer too, so you can sort of, if you're paying attention, gauge the trajectory of it or the speed of it to figure out how much you need to lead. So as far as non-hit scan weapons go, I think this is A-okay and fine, and particularly well designed for helping out the player in anticipating where they're going. Anyway, so here's Cold Burn. Note you don't hold it on the foregrip there thanks to its animations, which may be... It might be combat rifle or it might be handmade rifle. I'm not actually sure, but as you can tell, it's got a cool cryo explosion. Very nice, a very Institute flavor since they use those plasma grenades. Same crosshair on this scope. This one is the Dragon's Breath flak gun, which looks like a cool incendiary explosive rather than what what you'd find Dragon's Breath is in real life, which I'm A-okay with. This is kind of like an explosive, fiery thing instead of like a little bit of extra flame things. Anyway, so this one is... I actually forget what this one's called. Hyena Infradead. Okay, so this one's got the sticky grenades. So you fire it, and then give it a moment and it'll explode, which if this is a suppressed weapon, we might be able to stick a few targets and then have them explode all at once for a surprise sneak attack across every one of them, so that's kind of cool. Next one would be Intervention. This one I've made automatic with a reflex sight. This would be our assault rifle status version. I've got a suppressor on the front so we can stealth commando with it as well. For a 50 cal machine gun type thing, it's pretty good for recoil as well. That might be the Institute suit doing all of the heavy lifting there. It looks skin tight, but don't you worry, there's plenty of Institute technology stacked inside, like those crisis suits. Anyway, so here's the energy version, complete with plasma grenades, 6-round magazine. That's kind of cool, and it looks like that in third person. Next, we've got our version that we got from the Nuke-Arcade, 1.5 million tickets. It fires little baby nukes. You can just see the little nuclear quantum mushroom cloud. It would be better in the dark, but I think you get the idea. Next one is Penetrator. This one supposedly gives you a damage bonus from outer range instead of a damage penalty. So I've put a stub barrel on it and a suppressor to get our range down as far as possible. At 92, that's very little for a rifle class weapon, so hopefully we'll see something out of that. Now this one isn't hit scan either, and it's only a 3-shot magazine, so a lot of skill involved, and it looks like there's some actual bullet drop here. A lot, actually. If I want to hit that thing's headlight, I've got to aim that far above it. Okay, it's going to make it very difficult to use, but we've always got VATS should be near. And lastly, we've got Tina's Tater Tots, which... Cool cluster bomb. Good for crowd control situations. I was hoping to get this in unique, but... I mean unique, in automatic, but unfortunately does not happen, or I'm not allowed to. So we'll start off by utilizing this version here. And we'll fire some 25mm shells over in their direction. Is it the same rounds as the LAVs use? Maybe. No, I don't think it's the same round. They've got less propellant in them, so you know you don't dislocate your shoulder or remove it entirely if you fire this thing. But as a sniper weapon, as you can tell, very strong. The explosive ammunition allows me to just crush everything that's standing close to him. And that was a sneak attack for... Yeah, obviously you can one-shot these guys. It's a 25mm grenade launcher, so... why don't you just chill out over there. See if we can get some freezing happening. Not much luck, we'll move up. Ice cold. I'm not sure whether he's moving slower because he's partly frozen or that his legs are crippled. Not really sure. Gotta be careful that we don't do this. Now I'm thinking what we could do here is crit, and then that might freeze them all. No, it doesn't. That's interesting. I think that guy was frozen though. Maybe it takes a little bit of shooting and hitting them consecutively to get these freezings happening, but an effective weapon. Cool flavor, I suppose. Let's move on to our next one, Dragon's Breath. So let's turn up the heat. We've turned it down too much. A big effect on the screen for admittedly not much damage there. We'll keep going though. We might be getting screwed over by the multiple projectile and their heavy armor. So if I crit this, that's pretty good. Look at that dude sitting down. He was not ready. He wasn't listening to all those 25mm grenades going off before. Yes, there's a huge difference between crits and non-crits here. It looks like though it's an effective weapon for crippling their legs. So hang on, get back down there. Down you get. But even with a longer barrel, I feel like this thing in Dragon's Breath form is rather lacking, so a little bit of a letdown. Next, we've got sticky bombs. So we get the hit, he freaks out, and curiously, the nuclear explosion upon him did less damage than the direct hit did. That one did better though. Huh. Well, perhaps sticking it onto a wall is more of an effective thing. If I shoot a couple in this tree... Well, if they aren't sitting where an explosion can't possibly reach them, then it's pretty effective. I do quite like its indirect fire ability. That's actually pretty awesome. There's plenty of utility in that. If you don't want to get shot by these guys, you just sort of hit some terrain around them or some sort of obstacle, and with that you can just nuke them from a completely safe position. See that guy up there? I'll just put some thingers up there and see how it goes. Also appreciate it how you can see its shell do a little bit of a glowing effect before it explodes, so you can see exactly where you've put it, so you can easily gauge where your next shot needs to go if you've missed by a little bit. Plus it ragdolls people, which is always a plus. Now is that going to kill them with fall damage? Nope, she got up from it. She's fine. Alright, let's move over to our assault rifle as we get really pissed off for some reason. I don't know if it'd be possible to make the explosions that you get out of it do more of a, I don't know, make it pass through terrain or anything, just to make it so that little bits of cover won't obscure a nuclear explosion. But that might be the only thing that I would suggest as a change to that thing. Anyway, so we'll go over to our assault rifle status version now. We're getting nice up and close and personal. Surprisingly good on AP, despite being such a large rifle, which I'm not gonna say no to be honest. And we haven't even made it through all of our rifles yet. So I suppose for the last one, let's think, what do we want out of this thing? Maybe the tater tots here would be the perfect option for a door breach maneuver. Just put the grenades in there. And I suppose that's it. And we don't need to heal up because we leveled up. Yep, that's them cleared out. I think I got them on the first thing, so that was probably overkill putting in those 10 extra rounds that I didn't need to. But yeah, there we go. Also, yes, we're still in the blonde Sheila era. I believe this is it Ciri's hair from The Witcher? I think it's Ciri. I've never heard anyone actually speak her name. It's spelled with a C. C-I-R-I, right? Is it Ciri? Is it Ciri or Cheery? I don't know. Anyway, so this is called an Institute suit. It's got lots of nanotechnology, allows Phoebe to use her muscles more effectively. I don't know why. The Institute's like super high tech, right? So they can make suits like this and it makes sense. Also nerd glasses. Okay, let's pick up where we left off, but instead we'll go to Quincy so we can experience more of a sniper role. Now this one is locked down, of course, with the plasma grenades, and I don't know if this is just because I'm closer, it might be just confirmation bias, but I do think that the plasma grenades have a much superior projectile speed compared to the other ones that we've seen. Plus the splash damage here is pretty handy just to get that gunner from around the corner. But I kind of like the idea that these more futuristic and technologically superior rounds would have better trajectories and velocities through the air. That sort of makes sense to me. Am I blind? Do I not see that guy? Is he stealth boyed? Who knows? Plenty of gunners to be had around here. I suppose we'll just let Vats tell me exactly where they are. Can't exactly one-shot kill these guys, but we'll give them a good crack anyway. And now we'll just shoot him out the window. Can I do that? Well, that guy can shoot me through the window. We'll be very careful not to hit the wall there because that will kill me. This thing doesn't protect you. If you shoot too close to yourself, you will die. Ah, power armor man. That's pretty effective, but I feel like we can do a little bit better against him. We'll clear out, we'll use this one last magazine. We'll ignore that guy for now. He's only tickling me with his plasma gun anyway. Here comes a frag grenade. Alright, let's go over to payback rifle. See how we go. Huh, that guy started fleeing. That's weird. Do I have a terrifying presence? Who knows? It looks like the direct hits, though. They're doing a ton of damage. Enough to one-shot these guys? Maybe. You can stay away from me now. Oh, that guy's run off. Get out of here. There we go. So we've done pretty well here. I don't actually mind this Nuke version here. Seems to have a pretty decent velocity as well, like the plasma gun version, but, you know, one by one ticket, we are getting this value back. Even though most of it was gotten through console commands. We've got one more gunner coming up here. Please run through here. There we go. Made my job easy just now. And I believe the only one that I haven't really used yet is Penetrator, which might be difficult. We'll see how we go. We'll find a stationary target to see what kind of drop we can get on it, but, I mean, this turret's probably going to die regardless, right? 449, that's not too bad. And I think the Assaultron hasn't showed up either yet, so maybe the Assaultron's still around. Yep, there you are. So, as a sniping role, looks like there's not really that much better than... There's an invisible man.
Don't move, soldier.
Probably should have waited for his thinger to come off. There we go. Got there eventually. We might have to use this against the Swan so we can see how much extra damage we can get out of this thing via its...
Door's chained up on the other end.
Via its out of range multiplier. Right, it's a positive multiplier though, no, it doesn't penalize you, but whoever this last gunner is, your days are numbered. There we go. Alrighty then, so that did pretty well. I think that my favorite out of that one would probably be the payback rifle. So, you know, maybe it's Vindicator and its outrageous price point, but I still think it's far too much. I want to try the timed explosives on a little baby behemoth. So he should all be stuck with those things. It's doing an okay job, but it doesn't look like it's been that effective though. And I think if he stands too close to me, I'll be caught in the blast. That's weird. It looks like I've been doing more damage just by sticking to the ground. Huh. I don't know why there's such a disparaging damage between sticking on the ground and sticking a target directly, but yeah, don't bother shooting them with this thing unless you can kill them with the outright damage of the projectile landing. Okay, there's the Swan over there. He's fighting some annoying rust devils that have spawned there for no reason. And, yep, just an easy 4,000 damage there. Nothing to it. Now, the problem with this thing is that... Okay, that was a pretty lucky shot there. The problem here is that since this weapon's range factor is so low, I'm going to get very poor accuracy from the outer extremes of this thing's range. But even still, we could probably make that work with criticals just to boost our damage initially. And that is a sniper knockdown. We'll just scroll back even further to increase our damage even more. Let's see. We'll use a critical here. We're still hidden somehow. Must be the Institute suit being super stealthy. Alright, you can stop shooting at me now. No. No. It's very odd seeing this thing being so ineffective at a close range despite the such short a barrel. Here's more inherent crowd control powers from the payload rifle. Okay, next time we'll do a proper sniping, so watch this space. Okay, night has fallen, so the light show from payback rifle should be fairly spectacular. Let's see how we go. Now keep in mind, VATS is only going to inform me of the projectile hitting and not the explosion. Which leads to a big disparity of damage between when this thing is, you know, hitting him in VATS and what the game is telling us that we're gonna get. And there we go. Very, very strong weapon indeed. I suppose the hardest thing would be feeding it, and you know, the weight of this thing might stop lots of players. Is that a regular Gatling laser? Or, ooh, it's a Fallout 3 New Vegas Gatling laser. Hideous weapon, but you know, still cool. Just because something is ugly doesn't mean it's not cool. See the M60, for example. But yes, very powerful, very good endgame weapon. Plus, works with classic holstered weapons. If you've got a bipod, it clips through your bum, though. This is one of those outfits that I think it makes your assets bigger because, you know, your CBB isn't enough. You've got to add even more onto that. Okay, time for a Glowing Sea doubleheader. First of all, we're going to be using Intervention for its Stealth Commando role. We haven't really played with this thing yet, so let's use this thing as a Stealth Commando thing. Oh, it's dead already. Ain't that grand. That's the suppressor automatic version with the... Yeah, well, it's an automatic 50 caliber rifle, so what do you expect from this thing, huh? And you gave me a sprinter's leg. Is that a friendly withered feral? It is, you know. Huh. You might be useful. You can be my friend. We don't have to pacify him. He's already on my team. So what do we want against the mosquito of death? I'm going to try and use the tater tots thing. I feel like with this weapon, near enough is good enough, but I'm going to go for the head anyway and start this first thing as a critical and see if we can eventually stack explosives enough to actually kill that bastard. Oh god, here they come. Well, that worked. Did all the explosives blow up at once there? Okay, so far so good. What else have we got here that might be helpful? Penetrator might be okay. I feel like payback rifle is what I want out of this thing right now. Or I could try to freeze it entirely. We'll try to get cold burn working here. He hasn't appeared to got any slower from this, and listen, Ghoul, you're on. Yes, the distraction is working. Now, instead of me killing him with straight explosives, I'll go back over to, what's it called? It's not lockdown, intervention. And shoot him some more. I'll go for the head here. No, head, please. Head. Head, please. Say that to a woman. Head, please. See what happens then. She'll probably punch you in the head. Okay, that's us in Nerd Rage. I'm gonna put him in the ghoul in between me, and look, at this point I don't even care that if I kill him, so we'll go over to our... No, not penetrator. I think we'll go to payback rifle. That'll do the job. There we go. Well, the fact that I did it first try is probably testament to this weapon's power, because usually that bastard, he's a hard one to beat, so, you know, the fact that we've done it in just one go, well, that's pretty good, one attempt. Anyway, so I think you get the idea. That was the payload rifle, and something about the mod page baffles me, because there's like this frequently asked questions that sort of, there's like a filters through all the complaints, all the common complaints. There's actually people complaining, and this baffles and confuses me. There's people complaining that, oh, this weapon is not lore friendly. This weapon isn't, it's overpowered. I mean, overpowered, maybe. You could argue that. That's fine, but it's not lore friendly. It doesn't make any sense. It's impractical. It's unrealistic. We're playing Fallout. Fallout's a made-up place. We can do what we want. Plus, if you don't like the mod, just don't download it. I don't understand why people need to go and bitch on a mod page if they don't have the mod specifically catered to them. If you really want to make something that you want, take up modding and make up your own thing. Maybe you can download this thing and make the tweaks as you want, and then you can ask the mod author to see if you can release the patch on the Nexus, share around the mod and say, hey, this is my take on it. Like a remix to a song, if you will. So anyways, if you want to see this weapon in your game, I highly recommend it. Check it out in the description. You are one fat blood bug. But no more. Highly recommend this mod. It's a whole lot of fun. Balance-wise, I think it is probably strong. However, as you can tell, there's flaws involved. Still strong enough to nail a Deathclaw from an indirect shot from all the way back here, but I believe that factors into its balancing thing, because if it was just a hit scan thing, I mean, well, you know, it'd be a little bit too good. But I think where it is now, I mean, it's strong, but you're going to have to invest a lot in it to actually get it to work. So, yeah, I won't make too many I don't have too many problems about the power of this thing. But if you want to see this weapon, check out the link in the description. I'll put a link down to this institute suit as well if you are interested. Thank you very much for watching, guys.